Hi everyone, Morgan here at Paradigm 360 Wellness. Today we're going to go over some tips on how to collect hair for any at-home lab testing that requires a hair sample, like the hair tissue mineral analysis or HTMA. Now real quick, the mineral analysis test is a great way to see what your body is excreting and how much of a mineral was used or in the body through your hair, sweat, and skin. With heavy metals, the test shows heavy metals that are currently unbound in the body and are being excreted. That being said, some heavy metals are currently bound in your body and will not show up on the results until some heavy metal detoxing. For example, I did a hair analysis test initially a couple years ago and it showed trace amounts of mercury, and I thought all was well. I then did a heavy metal detox protocol and my retest showed much higher levels of mercury. This is actually a good thing. It means that the mercury is no longer bound in my body and is being excreted as it should. That's one of the reasons why we like this test. And another great benefit is that we can see what minerals may be out of balance. And just a side note, minerals are super important. They are what balance the body and provide us that spark. And the majority of us are low on minerals for a multitude of reasons: gut health, stress, quality of food, etc. So some quick signs of mineral imbalance that you may be familiar with: high or low blood pressure problems, fatigue, lightheadedness, dizziness, skin discoloration, sweating, increased or decreased, breathing difficulties, heart arrhythmias or palpitations, low mood or apathy, headaches or migraines, digestive issues, learning issues, allergies and asthma, and chronic inflammation. And now some signs of heavy metal overload, which can overlap with mineral imbalances, are headaches and migraines, joint pain, skin inflammation or rashes, skin pigmentation abnormalities, tingling in the extremities, nausea or vomiting, breathing difficulty, heart arrhythmia, palpitations, autoimmune issues, and chronic inflammation. Now, back to the hair sampling. Prior to collecting a hair sample, you want to make sure that your hair is clean and dry without the use of any products or chemicals. It is best to take your sample the day after you wash your hair, since certain shampoos can skew the results. That being said, we ask that you do not work out or sweat a lot before taking a sample. If you have recently colored or highlighted your hair, we ask that you please wait at least a week after coloring prior to collecting your hair sample. If you have bleached your hair, please refrain from obtaining a sample until you have about 1 to 1.5 inches of natural hair growth, as bleaching can show reduced levels of certain minerals. And you may be asking yourself, well, why hair? What happens is a hair sample is incinerated and then the ash is tested for the mineral and metal contents. Now, a hair sample, depending on how long it is, shows a broad picture of what's been going on in the past 1 to 2 months, give or take. Each ½ inch of hair obtained shows about 1 to 1.5 months of data. So even if you're a guy taking this test and can only provide ½ inch of hair, we can still get significant data. However, 1 to 1.5 inches of hair is best. Now that you're ready to have your hair sampled, first thing I like to do is open my lab test kit and have everything laid out on the counter. It's not as important for the hair sample, but if you're doing a blood sample, urine test, or saliva test, it helps to have everything ready. In the box, you'll have your lab registration card, a hair sample weight scale, printed instructions, an envelope to place the hair sample in, and an envelope to mail everything back to the lab. First thing you need to do is register your lab. This is where you input your basic information so that when your test results are ready, it will be grouped with your information. Next, you want to get your weight scale folded and ready to place your hair on. When you're ready to snip some hair, make sure it's coming from the back crown area. If you have short hair like a crew cut, you'll have to get your sample more towards the top part of your head. You want to get your ½ inch to 1.5 inch sample from the scalp, since that's where you'll have the most current data. So for me, since I have really long hair, I'd snip close to the root and trim the top 1.5 inches closest to the scalp and discard the rest. You'll then place the hair sample on the big X on the weighted scale card, and when that side is weighed down, you have enough hair to send. Next, you'll place your hair sample in the plain envelope labeled with your name, sex, and age and seal it. And then you'll place that envelope in the mailing envelope and seal. And you just mail it off like any regular letter. If you've got your lab from us, be sure to let us know when you mail off your samples so we can get a Zoom session scheduled in about 4 to 6 weeks to go over your results.